Ahead now on Virginia This Morning. Are you still looking for a job? If you sent out countless resumes and still aren't getting the calls for the interviews, well, you may want to think about switching your tactics.
Richmond area author and motivational speaker Stephen Jennings shares creative tips on finally landing an interview and standing out as a potential boss's top candidate. Nice to see you, Stephen.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Very tough to find a job in these economic times right now. How does one actually position themselves to actually get that job and actually get an interview, first of all?
Well, first of all, you're right. To get an interview can be a problem right now. Most of the jobs that people are looking for, you're not finding them on the websites, you're not finding them in newspapers, they're found through networking. And that's what people need to focus on. There's actually two things that I would share for ways to find and get an interview. One would be to visit a customer. The other one is don't take no for an answer. Looking at visiting a customer, basically back to the networking side. Look at a particular company that you're looking to work for. Do some research and find a customer of theirs that's in your local area. And then take time to go to that customer. When you get there, you'll probably get to the receptionist. Ask them, let them know what you're looking for. You're trying to find work with a particular company and you know that they're a customer of theirs and you want to talk to somebody about that company to get their insight. Is it a good place to work? How do they like working with them as well? What you'll be able to do, and it's amazing, people will think, oh, they'll never do that, but they're more than happy to open up their doors and to share some insight. So once you be able to meet with somebody, ask them a couple questions about the company. What you then want to do is to ask them a contact. Who do they work with at that company that you want to work with? Can they give you some information as far as their emails or web address or their phone numbers as well, so that you can then contact them and use that information that you have now learned about them and let them know that, you know, I spoke with Mr. Smith and he had given me some information. You know, is there a time where we could talk? I really want to work for your company. I want to learn more about it. And it's amazing how the doors will open if you simply do that. And you know, I tell you what, a really neat thing, a personal story as well, is if you have an interview, you want to do the same thing. Visit that customer. I did that particularly with one particular job. Went in, visited the customer. As I was sitting down at that interview, they say, as the normal question, tell me what you know about our company. Why do you want to work here? So I told them all the normal things that you get from the website and from what you find out from their company profile. But then I told them, you know what, I met with one of your customers. Would you like to know what they think about you? For the next 30 minutes, they were all ears. All they cared about was what I found out from that particular customer. I got the job, and what they told me after I got the job was that I was the only one that had ever visited one of their customers that had ever come with that information, and that's what set me apart and got me that job.
Now, you say don't take no for an answer. How do you not step over that line, though, to becoming a nuisance?
There is a very fine line to do that as well. But here's the thing. Right now, most people, when they get a no response, they get frustrated, they get upset, and they just turn away. A lot of companies right now, since there's so many millions of people out of work right now, they want somebody that's going to be a go-getter, that's going to continue to go after it. If you give up after one or two no's, they're not going to be interested in looking at you as well, because you might give up on the business of what they're doing as well. So you have that fine line, but you want to stay in contact with people. If you've had an interview or if they have a job posting as well, stay in contact with them. Write them, send them a note, send them an email, give them a call. You don't want to be calling them every day and so forth, but every week, every 2 weeks, just stay in front of them. Give them an update of some of the things that you're doing as well, just to keep in front of them and keep your name in front of the list.
If you're lucky enough to land an interview, Stephen, and you end up in that corner office looking across that desk with the boss, and you don't want to make any mistakes, how do you remain calm and not nervous? Is there a trick?
You know what, there is a trick, and it's a great trick as well, because that is a big thing where you get nervous, you're trying to remember all the preparation you did, all the questions they're going to ask you, how you're going to respond to it. What I teach in both of my books, Graduate with a Job and Promoting Yourself, is how to create a personal success portfolio. The great thing about this, and this is the trick, 99% of people don't do this. The 1% that do are the ones that are going to become the top candidate. What it does, I teach you how to take your experience, your accomplishments, put it into a success portfolio that you will then use when you're interviewing. When they ask you a question about, tell me about a time when you did this particular thing, or tell me an example of when you did this. Instead of just talking to them normally, sharing your information, what you do then is you pull out your success portfolio. It has all of that information in it. You hand it to them and you tell them, you know what, if you turn to this particular tab, I'll be happy to walk you through that example. What you've done is you've immediately brought credibility. They know what you're telling them is the truth as well. It's also a great way to think of it as Cliff Notes, because it's your cheat sheet. Because now you're not having to remember everything in your mind. You've got it all right down on the paper, so you're using it as a reference as well, and you're walking them right through your example. You leave that with them after the interview, and now all of the other resumes that are sitting on the corner of the desk don't have a chance comparing to your success portfolio.
One can only hope so. You've got a lot more information in your books and on your blog. You're Richmond-based, so folks
Correct.
can get in touch with you. Thank you, Stephen, for some great information today.
Thank you
Selling
so much for
yourself.
having me.
Thanks,
All right,
Stephen.
you're
Appreciate
very
it.
welcome.